Hello and welcome to the Constant Radio Players production of Power of the Daleks episode 2 and 3. I'm so glad you're able to join us today. My name is Ben Ellis. I am the director of the Console Room Radio Players and director of the show you are about to see today. Before we start, I'd like to introduce my company. First, we have the narrator is played by
Ricky G.
The Doctor is played by
Lucas.
Ben Jackson played by
Matthew Bjorkman.
Polly played by
Jennifer Peck.
Quinn played by
Joe Ackerman.
Reagan played by
Don Sloan.
Lesterson played by
Meg Bjorkman.
Janley played by
Susie Guile.
Hensel played by
Carly Schumacher.
And the role of the Daleks, Resno and Valmar, is played by
David Norris.
And our excellent sound effects man this afternoon is
That would be me, Philip Gordon.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Constant Radio Players presents Power of the Daleks episodes 2 and 3.
Doctor Who, The Power of the Daleks, episodes 2 and 3, written by David Whittaker, adapted by Ricky G. The Doctor has regenerated before the eyes of his companions, Ben and Polly. They're still questioning what they've seen and are dubious about the Doctor's identity when the TARDIS lands in a rough, mist-covered landscape. Immediately upon exiting the TARDIS to explore this world, the Doctor witnesses the murder of a man known as the Examiner and narrowly avoids assassination himself. Pocketing the Examiner's credentials, the Doctor and his companions are escorted to the heart of the planet's colony, where they discover the laboratory of Lesterson. Lesterson has stumbled upon a space capsule and is conducting experiments on it. We join the story at the moment the Doctor, Polly, and Ben see the contents of the capsule.
Doctor, look!
The Doctor and Ben stare transfixed at a pulsating claw. Ben slowly moves towards the claw, but the Doctor quickly drags him back. The movement appears to alarm the claw. It scuttles back into the shadows.
Hey, watch outside.
Did you see it?
Quickly, Ben, quickly.
What was it?
Ben returns to the laboratory. Quickly glancing around him, Ben notices a strange-looking object on the laboratory bench. He walks over, then picks up a bulb attached to a long lead. Ben quickly tests the bulb by switching it on and off. Satisfied with its condition, he drags the lead into the capsule. Ben's actions have been monitored by Resno, one of the colonists. The Doctor impatiently snatches the lighting device from Ben and moves cautiously towards the shadows. Ben tiptoes after him, indicating to Polly to stay back.
Can you answer me?
It was a sort of disembodied hand, a sort of claw. It was horrible.
The doctor shines the light onto the area where the claw appeared.
No, there's nothing.
Moving to the doorway, Ben notices a perfect circle on the floor, the outline of the rim of a Dalek.
You were right. There were 3 Daleks.
If there were 3, who moved it?
Don't ask me. Lesterson?
But she hadn't opened it, the capsule.
Now she said she hadn't opened it. Let's get our facts straight.
Aha, excellent. Good thinking.
The doctor rushes back into Lesterson's laboratory. Ben and Polly quickly follow to find the doctor searching through Lesterson's scientific equipment.
What? Does that mean you think she's been inside?
Perhaps she's been experimenting on the Daleks, eh?
But they're things. I mean, they're dead. They must be.
The doctor replaces a test tube and picks up the lighting device.
The light is dead. Now the watch.
Do you mean these things just need power?
Now Lesterson's a fanatic. The governor's jealous of her own position. What does that suggest to you? I don't know. Hadn't thought about it. But all is not well in this colony. Add to that one Dalek.
Oh, blimey. You don't half make mountains, don't you? One
Yes.
Dalek?
Yes. All that is needed to wipe out this entire colony.
In the visitors' guest rooms, Quinn cautiously enters, trying to find the doctor.
Examiner.
Quinn switches on the guest room light and notices that the room is empty. Suddenly, the door opens and Bragan barges in.
Bragan, don't you ever knock before you enter a room?
Sorry if I disturbed you. I was expecting to find the examiner here, not you, Quinn.
Well, he's not here. You'll probably want to start snooping under the bed, so I'll leave you to it.
One moment.
Don't try your luck with me, Bragan.
On the contrary, I'm trying to avoid trouble. The governor gave express instructions that you were not to contact the examiner. I find you here. I'm sure you can offer some suitable explanation.
I can, but not to you.
Quinn starts to walk off. Bragan tries to halt her, but Quinn pushes past.
Guard, the examiner is missing. He must be found immediately.
In the laboratory, the doctor is still engrossed in his search of Lesterson's apparatus.
Of course, the real doctor was always going on about the Daleks.
Real doctor?
Real doctor? Oh, you mean the real doctor.
Yeah, now I've seen that claw thing, well, wouldn't want to shake hands with it, let's put it that way.
Doctor, look, if they're that dangerous, what are you going to do about it?
Save my breath. Would Lesterson listen? Lesterson listen. Lesterson listen. Lesterson listen. Exercises in the tongue. Give it a try. Lesterson listen. Lesterson listen. Lesterson listen.
Look,
Lesterson
they think
listen.
you're the
Lesterson
examiner.
listen.
Order them to destroy the
listen.
Daleks.
Lesterson
Well,
listen.
chuck your weight
Lesterson
around.
listen. Lesterson listen.
Lesterson, listen.
Lesterson,
Lesterson, listen.
yeah.
Lesterson, listen. Lesterson, listen. Lesterson, listen. Lesterson, listen. Lesterson,
Lesterson listen.
Listen,
Lesterson listen. Lesterson listen.
Lesterson,
The
listen.
doctor
Lesterson
is
listen.
interrupted when Lesterson storms into the laboratory, accompanied by Resno.
What do you think you're doing in here?
Listen, listen, listen.
Who gave you permission?
The doctor shoves the examiner's badge into Lesterson's hand.
Read this. Aloud.
Accord every access.
Exactly. It doesn't say, except your laboratory. Anywhere does it. Ooh, unless it's in microprint.
I should have been asked first.
Ben, what was the first thing you noticed when you looked inside the capsule?
Well, the Daleks.
You were astounded,
Yes.
amazed.
Yes.
You didn't even give them a glance, Lesterson. Why? Because you'd been in there and you'd seen them. Where is the third Dalek?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You opened the capsule without permission. You found the inner compartment containing 3 Daleks. You took one of them away and you hid it.
Hid it? What nonsense?
As the doctor continues his search through Lesterson's laboratory, Bragan enters.
May I ask what this is all about?
We opened an inner compartment in the capsule. And Lesterson had already been in there.
I don't deny that.
And she's nicked a Dalek.
Dalek?
It's the name the examiner has given to two metal creations I've discovered inside the capsule.
And they're dangerous, evil.
Lumps of metal, quite inactive.
That's what you think, mate, if you'd seen...
Ben glances over and notices the doctor giving him a disapproving shake of his head.
I consider it my duty as a scientist to examine and investigate these objects. Now, please, all of you, keep out of my laboratory. Keep your hands off my experiments.
Those lumps of metal, Daleks, look, I want them broken up or melted down, up, down, I don't care which, but destroyed.
I refuse to allow it.
I'm the Earth Examiner. I demand it.
You're exceeding your authority.
Well, perhaps we should ask the governor about that. I wish to see her immediately.
That might be difficult.
But not impossible. Ben, Polly?
The doctor marches from the room, closely followed by Ben, Polly, and Bragan. Resno wanders up to Lesterson, who is still fuming.
Could he stop the experiments?
I don't know. It's none of your business. You go and get Janley and then come back here. We haven't got any time to waste. Now go on, man. Quickly, quickly.
Resno rushes off. As soon as he's gone, Lesterson locks the door to the laboratory. She walks into the inner compartment of the capsule. Lesterson activates a hidden control near the door, causing another compartment to open. Standing behind is the third Dalek. Although dormant, it is covered by masses of electronic circuitry.
He won't stop me experimenting. There must be some way to bring you back to life, and I'm going to find it.
The doctor, Ben, Polly, and Bragan have gathered in the guest quarters.
And of course, you do have the right of any access.
Which is why I have a badge which says so.
Lesterson watches over her ideas like a mother hen.
If there was a bomb under this floor, time to go off in 5 minutes, would you ask my permission before you rip the floorboards up? Oh, hey, fruit.
The doctor suddenly leaps over to the bedside table and examines the basket of fruit placed there. The doctor carefully examines each piece, then gives a piece to Polly.
Thank you.
Examiner, it's up to you, of course, but I'd advise a little discretion in your investigations. It's not a very good time just now.
The doctor hands a piece of fruit to Bragan.
Thank you. With all these disturbances.
Disturbances?
Yes, minor acts of sabotage, rebel cliques, secret newspapers. Nothing important, you understand, but it keeps the governor busy. I have no doubt she'll tell you all about it herself when I arrange your meeting with her.
When will that be?
She's going on a tour of the perimeter of the colony. I'll find out if she can see you before she goes.
Thank you.
With a final look at the doctor, who's happily eating an apple, Bragan leaves the room.
You know, it's little things like this that make it difficult to believe that you're the doctor.
Ah.
The other one, I mean. The proper one. Oh, nuts. You know what I mean.
Nuts? Yes, certainly. Here we are. Would you like crackers?
The doctor digs into the fruit bowl, perhaps searching for nuts and crackers.
You, my old China, are an out-and-out phony.
China, yes. I went there once, I believe. Met Marco Polo.
No, not China. China. China and plate. Mate. Friend.
Yeah, it's Marco Polo, a friend. I believe he was.
Don't listen to him, Doctor. I know who you are.
Polly watches as the doctor produces a small knife from one of his pockets and carefully slices into an apple. A few moments later, the doctor pulls from the apple a miniature listening device. He promptly drops it on the floor and smashes it with his boot.
It's a...
Well, a touch of the bugs. Microphones.
Somebody's been listening to what we've been saying?
Yes. So that's why you were messing about and talking nonsense.
I never talk nonsense.
Well,
hardly ever.
Well, they certainly believe in making us at home, don't they?
At first, I thought there might be more than one.
The doctor squashes another piece of fruit, causing the others to laugh.
Here, I bet old Charlie Bragan did it.
Charlie?
Well, Fred wouldn't suit him, would it?
Well, if he did do it, do you think it was his own idea? I mean, he could be under orders.
You mean from the governor? I don't know. What do you think, Doctor?
Oh, yes, well, of course. Let's consider this button for a moment. It's the only clue we've got to the murderer of the examiner, the real examiner.
And who asked for him to come?
Well, Lester sends crackers about that capsule. She wouldn't want anyone nosing about.
Bregan said the governor's been having trouble.
Nah, rule her out. Governors are all the same. She wouldn't ask for help. If she sent the word, it would look as if she couldn't do the job properly.
Yes.
Oh well, I vote we go back to the TARDIS. I've had enough of this dump.
Have you? What about the Daleks?
Well, they're dead.
Well, what about that thing we saw in the capsule? That was alive, all right.
Well, can't explain that.
I can, and that's why we have to stay.
Later that night, Lesterson, Resno, and Janley are assembled in the laboratory. They are all closely examining the third Dalek.
Ugly-looking brutes, aren't they? Well, what you want to mess around with them for? Leave well alone, I say.
You're a fine one to be a research assistant. Leave well alone. There will be no progress on this planet with people like you around.
We're doing all right as we are. Or we were until you all came along stirring things up. You won't get away with it, you know. The governor knows all about you rebels. She'll smash the lot of you when she's ready.
The governor?
Yeah, the governor.
She couldn't smash us.
Will you be quiet? Where do you think you both are? This is a scientific laboratory. Kindly keep your politics out of it. Come on, Resno. Man, get on with it. We haven't got all day. We've got to get this working before the examiner stops us. He's got some phobia about these Daleks.
In the guest quarters, the doctor is sitting on a bed, staring into space.
Oh, I know the misery they cause, the destruction. But there's something else more terrible. Something I can only half remember.
Doctor, what is it?
Bregan, well? Where's the governor? What did she say?
She sends apologies, Examiner. She can't see you tonight, but she hopes to see you first thing in the morning.
Well, it might not wait that long, Bregan.
It will have to.
Excuse me?
Where are you going?
To see the governor, of course.
I'm afraid that's not possible. Once her door is closed, no one, not even you, Examiner, is allowed into her room.
Very well.
Thank you. Until the morning, then.
With a curt nod, Bregan leaves the room.
What happens now?
I shall radio Earth. Governor or not, Hensel will have to listen to them. I'll get Earth to back me.
The doctor suddenly dives for the door, yanks it open, and glances out.
That's funny. I could have sworn. You stay here. I shan't be long.
The doctor realizes in his haste he has yanked the doorknob from its socket. Ben and Polly laugh at the doctor's bemused expression. In the laboratory, Lesterson is standing next to a panel of dials and switches. A number of electric leads are connected from the Dalek to a bank of machinery. Janley stands nearby with a notebook in hand. Resno is sitting next to another bank of electric meters. Lesterson flicks several switches. A low hum emanates from the surrounding machinery. Lights begin flashing and needles begin moving on the bank of meters next to Resno. The three scientists stare expectantly at the lifeless Dalek.
Connecting now.
All connections responding.
Nothing at all?
No.
Are you sure?
There's nothing wrong here.
Well, let's see.
Really, as if you can trust me to read a dial.
Be quiet. All right, we'll try again. This time we'll take it up to 3.24. Got that, Janley?
3.24.
The humming sound rises. Slowly, the Dalek's sucker arm begins to move upwards.
It's moving.
The eye stick, very slowly, also starts to move upwards.
Now note this, Janley. Number 1 attachment with sucker stick responding. Number 2 attachment not moving. Number 3 attachment with lens responding. Watch those meters, Resno.
Still responding.
Lesterson marches up to the Dalek and walks around it thoughtfully.
Now, it's reasonable to assume that this sucker stick acts like some kind of a hand.
The sucker stick extends towards Janley, who recoils and screams in surprise.
Ah!
It's all right. Don't be alarmed. We've only introduced temporary power. We shall have to be able to open it up before we can find out how it works permanently.
Lesterson crouches and examines the gun stick.
It's a bit frightening.
Yes. Now I cannot think what this short stubby arm is for.
Could this lens attachment be like an eye?
Yes. Now it's quite possible that this a Dalek. Now there must be some kind of directing influence. There may even be a simplified brain. Positronic, I shouldn't wonder. Oh, if only we could open it up.
Suddenly, the Dalek returns to its previous lifeless state. The eye and sucker stick droop towards the floor.
Now what?
Everything functioning here.
Yes. Well, perhaps the power is leaking away somewhere. We'll try again.
Lesterson turns a number of dials, which successfully restores the power. The Dalek eye stick moves upwards again. It turns around and watches Resno. Resno quickly spins around as he senses something watching him.
Look, at the eye stick.
The eye stick immediately returns to its dormant state.
It's watching us.
Don't be absurd.
It was. I saw it.
You cannot use the phrase watching us. You'll have us believing that the thing has intelligence next. Now get on with your work, man.
The doctor cautiously walks into the communications room. The unconscious body of a radio mechanic lies slumped on the floor. Nearby are a number of severed communications cables. The doctor bends down to examine the mechanic, but is distracted by a noise nearby.
I know you're there.
Quinn steps from the shadows, holding a large pair of pliers.
Examiner, thank goodness it's you. I've been trying to talk to you ever since you got here.
At that moment, Bragan and a guard enter.
What's happening here? You again.
What do you want?
I found the operator unconscious.
The doctor and Bragan look suspiciously at the pliers in Quinn's hand.
So did I. I was just looking at him when I heard someone move. It must have been you, Examiner.
And those?
Bragan snatches the pliers from Quinn's hand.
I picked them up. What is all this?
The cables have been cut.
What?
As Quinn reaches out to examine the cables, the doctor notices there is a button missing from her jacket.
This is serious. It's not just our own communications. We're cut off from Earth as well.
The only people who would want to do that are the rebels.
Those muscle boys of yours had any brains, they'd stop stuff like this.
The doctor produces a button from his pocket and hands it to Bragan.
Bragan, I was attacked just after I landed. This small souvenir I collected.
The doctor indicates the tear on Quinn's sleeve.
This button belongs to you, doesn't it?
Well, yes.
And you say you picked these up. I suggest that you were sabotaging the communications.
That's a lie.
Having first attacked one of the engineers, I detained the governor on evidence like that.
I hope you're not thinking of detaining me, Bragan.
I've no option. I could hardly let you run around loose after this, could I? All right, guards.
I warn you, Bragan.
Quinn stares aggressively at the approaching guard, but then relaxes.
All right. You win this round, Bragan. We'll see what this looks like in front of the governor.
Quinn is escorted from the room.
The governor will want an inquiry. May I ask what you were doing in here, Examiner?
In Lesterson's laboratory, a tripod has been set up in front of the Dalek. Resno is adjusting a film camera set up on the tripod.
Right. I've redirected power. This time working up to 4.68. Now, Resno, you'll have to dodge between the camera and your meters.
Ready?
Connecting now.
The familiar humming sound fills the room. The Dalek twitches, and its sucker arm and eye stick rise up once again.
All connections responding.
Excellent.
It's working.
Excellent. Film it now, Resno. And note the readings, Janley.
Resno moves to the camera and adjusts it to focus on the Dalek. The Dalek's eye stick spins around and trains on Resno. The rest of the machine's body moves around to face the scientist. The gun stick points towards Resno.
It seems to be interested in you, Resno.
Resno freezes in horror, staring at the Dalek.
What's the matter with you, man?
I tell you, it's intelligent. It's watching me, Lesterson, weighing me up. I can sense it.
Don't be a fool.
I don't like it, I tell you. I don't know what these things can do.
No, and we never shall know, shall we? Unless we take a film of every reaction. Now get on with your work, man.
Resno resumes, but continues to eye the Dalek suspiciously. Suddenly, the Dalek gun delivers its deadly ray. Resno cries out and falls to the floor. The camera crashes on top of him.
Resno!
Lesterson immediately pounces on the cable leads and disconnects them. The humming noise abruptly winds down into silence, and the Dalek is returned to its dormant state. Janley rushes over to Resno and examines him.
It's all right. He isn't dead.
What happened?
Knocked out by the shockwaves.
We must get him to the hospital. I'll go and get help.
In the guest quarters, the doctor is looking over the planet's landscape from the window.
But we've got to defend Quinn.
Yeah, I know. She's innocent until proven guilty. But she is guilty.
She's the deputy governor.
So what? I had a headmaster once who got nicked for not paying his bus fare. And then there's the motive. Don't forget the motive.
Like what, for instance?
Well, she's the deputy governor, right? Maybe she wants to be governor.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Well, the jacket button wasn't. And she was caught red-handed in the communications room with a pair of pliers. And don't tell me she was plucking her eyebrows either.
Look, there are some people you know are all right. You just know by looking at them.
Bragan steps into the room.
Morning. The inquiry is about to begin. I've been sent to escort you.
In Lesterson's laboratory, the Dalek has been covered by a dark-colored sheet. Lesterson glances at her watch.
Oh, hello, Janley.
Is it time?
Yes, and I feel quite excited.
And so you should. It's a wonderful achievement.
Yes. But the wonderful thing, Janley, is that we don't know the full scope of this experiment. Who knows where we may go from here?
Lesterson pulls the cover off the Dalek, which is now minus its gun stick.
Who knows what this Dalek may do?
It's harmless now?
Yes. I've removed. Oh, Resno, have you been to see him today?
Yes.
And?
He's had medical attention. He's going to be all right.
Oh, good.
No one must find out about this accident. It might give the examiner just the excuse they want, and he could stop the whole project.
Well, yes, you're right.
Well, ready?
Yes, let's go and surprise them.
Quinn's inquiry is about to start. Everyone is assembled in Governor Hensel's office.
I am sorry I couldn't see you earlier, Examiner. Please, sit down. Well, Quinn, I don't like this any more than you do. What have you been up to?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, what about Bragan's report, then? These are facts, Quinn. Now, what have you got to say about it?
Does the engineer say I hit him?
How could he if he was hit from behind?
Then you only have circumstantial evidence.
The examiner was also attacked in the Mercury Swamp. We have a button from your jacket found in the examiner's hand.
I can't explain that.
I'm sure you can't.
Examiner, you seem to be in two minds.
Yeah, and two bodies.
You mentioned to Bragan that these machines of Lesterson's, what did you call them?
I call them what they are, Daleks.
Ah, yes, Daleks. You say they could be a motive for destroying our communications.
I do.
Suddenly, Lesterson walks into the room with a smug expression on her face.
Lesterson, this is a special inquiry. Now, please.
This won't wait. Oh, you won't be disappointed.
You heard what I said, Lesterson.
Governor, I've just completed an experiment which could revolutionize the whole colony. Bear with me.
Lesterson, what have you done? What have you done?
I'll show you. Janley, now!
Everybody sits riveted as the Dalek glides into the room. The doctor moves back slightly and shakes his head in disbelieving despair. The Dalek swivels its eye stick around its captive audience and suddenly focuses directly on the doctor. Both the doctor and the Dalek edge away from each other. The doctor collapses into a chair behind him, stiff with fright.
It recognized the doctor. It recognized him.
What's the matter, Doctor? Are you all right?
Fools. The stupid fools.
You're scared. What can it do?
Nothing yet.
It knew who you were. It sounds crazy, but it did.
Knew who I was.
The Dalek knows who you are.
This creature is called, I understand, a Dalek. Now look at it. I have merely given it electrical power, but it is capable of storing it. Moreover, it responds to orders. Turn around.
The Dalek obeys.
Move that chair.
The Dalek obeys.
Stop. You see? Well, just think what this could do for our mining program, our processing, packaging. Dozens of labor jobs, Governor. It may even supply the end to all this colony's problems.
Yes, it will end the colony's problems because it will end the colony.
I am your servant.
Everyone stares in shock at the Dalek.
It spoke. Janley, did you hear it? It can actually talk.
It can do many things, Lesterson, but the thing it does most efficiently is exterminate human beings.
I am your servant.
It destroys them without mercy, without
your
conscience.
servant. I am your servant.
It destroys them
I
completely.
am your servant.
Utterly, it destroys
I
them.
am your servant. I am your servant. I am your servant. I
Enough!
am your servant.
Lesterson, they're even capable of speech?
Yes, but then why not? After all, they have a certain intelligence.
Yes, I know, but...
But is it? It is an intelligence that we can control.
So what you want is permission to continue your experiments.
Governor, think what that would mean if we were to set our work in the mines. It could double our production overnight.
Consider the effects it could have on our whole economy.
Yes, and the effect of that on Earth. Yes, they could be very grateful.
I shall stop you, Dalek. I will.
The Dalek glides slowly towards the doctor, but halts when Hensel speaks.
All right, Lesterson. Permission granted.
Permission? Permission for what?
To continue my work, Examiner.
But didn't you hear what I said? The Dalek must be destroyed.
Oh, never.
Oh, very well, if not by my order, then by Earth. Come, Ben, Polly.
The doctor turns towards the door, but Hensel holds up her hand.
Examiner, just a moment. Tell me, why are you so against this project?
Look, I've told you. I realize I can't give you any proof, but you have no idea of the danger.
No.
Yes, danger. I shall be contacting Earth just as soon as radio communications have been restored.
The doctor strides towards the door, followed by Ben and Polly. He pauses as he passes the Dalek.
You're my servant, are you?
I am.
Very well. Immobilize yourself. Go on. I order it. Immediately.
The Dalek renders itself immobile, its eye and sucker sticks drooping lifelessly.
Huh.
The doctor leaves the room, followed quickly by Ben and Polly. Slightly concerned at the Dalek's inactivity, Lesterson approaches the metal creation. But as soon as the doctor leaves, the Dalek resumes its normal posture.
Lesterson!
Why did you stop obeying? You were given an order.
He has gone.
Then you obey only?
His order was wrong. I cannot serve human beings if I am immobilized. You gave me power. Your orders are right. I serve you.
Lesterson. Lesterson, it reasons. Just how limited is its intelligence?
Now, there's no cause for concern, Governor. Just you wait until you see the amount of work it can do. Follow me, Dalek. Now I'm really going to put you through your paces.
I obey.
The doctor, Ben, and Polly are huddled in a corridor where it seems the doctor is talking to himself.
That's it?
We should have stayed with Quinn.
Well, we couldn't have helped her, Polly, even if we wanted to. The governor's already reached her verdict.
Wire, scissors, tape.
But she didn't murder the real examiner. I'm sure she didn't.
Oh well, the way I see it, this lot's too busy arguing amongst themselves to do much about anything. Anyway, first things first, the Daleks are the important thing.
The doctor rushes forward to shake Ben's hand.
Ta-ha! Congratulations, Ben.
What'd I do?
You just used your brains. That's what you did. And the Daleks are the most important thing.
The doctor races off, followed quickly by Ben.
I still think Quinn's innocent.
Back in Hensel's office, the inquiry has resumed. Quinn is undergoing interrogation by Bragan.
How can I be in league with the rebels?
The evidence confirms it.
It was I that warned of their dangers.
As part of your overall plan.
You wouldn't even take the matter seriously.
If I was wrong then, I have a chance to rectify it now.
Well, if that's going to be your attitude, I suggest that we...
Quinn, let us conduct this inquiry in an orderly manner. Now, the examiner was attacked. There can be no question of that.
And the button grabbed by the examiner was missing from your suit.
Yes. If you've got anything to add to that, you'd better say it now.
I didn't attack the man. I had no reason to. I was the one that sent for him.
You sent for him?
It was necessary. Under the circumstances, I'd hardly be likely to sabotage the radio communications.
But why, Quinn? Why?
Because of the rebels.
The rebels. They're nothing more than one or two fanatics.
You know as well as I do that they...
Unless you're trying to create trouble, to undermine the governor's position.
Bragan, you'd better explain that.
If you're removed, who takes your place? The deputy governor, of course. And that's the real reason behind all this trouble, isn't it, Quinn?
Go on.
You attack the examiner in the Mercury Swamp, blame it on the rebels. Then you sabotage the radio, blame that on the rebels too.
Get her out of my sight.
Hensel, before you listen to these preposterous allegations...
Leering triumphantly at Quinn, Bragan gestures to the guard to escort Quinn out. The guard immediately obeys. Hensel watches sadly as Quinn is marched away.
I chose Quinn myself. I trained her for the job. Why, in a few years' time, she'd have had this seat.
Sometimes, Governor, a few years is a long time to wait.
Oh, Bragan.
Governor.
You will assume Quinn's duties. As of now, you are Deputy Governor.
In the guest quarters, the doctor throws a chair against a small control unit, causing the outer casing of the unit to shatter.
Aha!
I hope you know what you're doing.
So do I.
Retrieving his magnifying glass from one of his pockets, the doctor commences a careful examination of the unit's components.
Excellent, excellent.
But I thought we were after the Daleks, not this control unit you've nicked.
If only we could find a... Haha, yes.
Rushing to the bed, the doctor hurriedly pulls off a number of cushions. Once he finds the bed frame underneath, the doctor rips off a metal bracket. He then returns to the control unit.
He's a right little delinquent, isn't he?
Doctor, what on earth are you up to?
Now we are getting somewhere.
Look, Doctor, I don't want to appear dim, but how's this going to do the Daleks in?
They think that Lecherson's the driving force, but I don't. The Daleks are using her.
But how?
Problem. Smash the Daleks, and the people here will lock us up or kill us. Let the Daleks go, and we'll all be exterminated.
We could just go back to the TARDIS. At least we'd be safe to think there.
The doctor is attaching the metal bracket to the control unit.
Oh, yes, that is coming on.
Oh, Polly, you talk to him, will you?
Doctor, look, if you told us what you were up to, perhaps we could help you.
I mustn't underestimate any of them. Lechterson's a first-class scientist. First class. She opened the capsule, and she realized the Daleks could be reactivated.
Yeah, that could be the answer. Let's kidnap Lesterson and hide her away for a bit. Well, it would stop her bringing the Daleks back to life, wouldn't it?
Holly raises her eyebrows at Ben's suggestion.
Well, I thought it was pretty bright.
Meanwhile, the doctor connects the metal bracket from the bed frame to the control unit. He holds up the device for Ben and Polly to see.
There we are.
What is it?
What is it? That could be the answer to all our problems.
The doctor, Ben, and Polly rush towards Lesterson's laboratory. On the way, they pass Quinn, being escorted by a guard.
Ah, Examiner, don't let them fool you about the rebels. They're strong.
The guard attempts to force Quinn to move on, but Quinn resists.
Try and find out where they're holding their meetings.
Leave her alone.
It's all right, Polly.
As Quinn is dragged away, Polly moves forward to help, but the doctor restrains her.
We'll help her, Polly, but later.
Yes, but...
Now, this is a case where a little injustice is better than wholesale slaughter. What we want is in Lechterson's laboratory. Come along.
Lesterson is in her laboratory, sitting in front of the Dalek with a stopwatch in hand. Janley stands nearby, holding a clipboard.
Incredible. Well, let's move on to test 14.
I am ready.
When sodium acts on ethyl alcohol, what is the resulting derivative?
Sodium ethoxide, C2H5ONA.
Just 5 seconds, Janley. Just the time it took to speak the answer.
It's right, too.
But of course it's right. Look, can you imagine what kind of a positronic brain this robot has? Janley, think of the store of knowledge that it must carry. Dalek, sulfuric acid.
H2SO4.
Ah, you see?
With a huge smile on his face, the doctor pokes his head through the doorway.
May I come in?
What do you want?
Oh, I just want to see how you're getting on.
If you think...
Oh, no, please. I am not here to cause trouble. I'm just interested, that's all.
You've done nothing but meddle and interfere ever since you landed here.
Well, I did give you permission to open up the capsule now, didn't I? Please, carry on.
And you won't try to stop me?
Stop you? No, of course not. We got off on the wrong foot, Lecterson. But I am a reasonable man, and I think perhaps I was just a little too hasty.
Well, if you really want to call a truce.
A truce? Oh, my dear Lecterson, I just want to be friends.
Yes. Very well, you may stay.
Oh, thank you. Ben, Polly, perhaps you'd like to amuse yourselves for a little while?
The doctor hurriedly waves at Ben and Polly to leave the room. Lesterson then approaches the doctor and commences a proud display of some of her notes. On a nearby desk, a communicator bleeps. Janley picks up the receiver.
Laboratory. Yes?
Janley listens closely to the voice on the other end. Glancing around, she notices that the doctor and Lesterson are busy.
All right, I can come now. Right.
Janley picks up a bundle wrapped in a cloth. She heads towards the door, ensuring that the bundle is obscured from Lesterson's sight.
I just have to slip out for a few minutes, Lesterson. That all right?
Yes. Very well then. Examiner, shall we test its knowledge of physics?
Oh, splendid. Please carry on.
Thank you. Dalek, what is the first law of thermodynamics?
When heat is transformed into any other kind of energy or vice versa, the total quantity of energy remains invariable. That is to say, The quantity of heat which disappears is equivalent to the quantity of other kind of energy produced.
As the Dalek recites the answer, the doctor stealthily moves towards the power unit. He then removes the modified control unit from one of his pockets and begins connecting it to the power unit. Sensing something is wrong, the Dalek glides towards the doctor. Just as Lesterson glances up, the doctor flicks a switch on his control unit. The laboratory is filled with a deafening screeching noise. The Dalek spins helplessly around the laboratory with its eye and sucker sticks swiveling uncontrollably.
Fool! What do you think you're doing?
Lesterson pushes the doctor aside and flicks off the switch. She hurls the doctor's modified device to the floor.
I'm saving your life.
Get out! Get out!
Lesterson examines the power unit as the Dalek recovers its composure.
I have sustained no damage.
The Dalek whirls towards the doctor. It makes a clicking noise as its empty gun socket fires upon the doctor. On the governor's terrace, Bragan is waiting as Janley arrives.
It's all right to...
Yes, you were able to get away then.
Yes, Lesterson's with the examiner. And Hensel?
At a meeting of production managers, she's left me in control.
We could take over the colony now.
No, it has to be absolutely right. I don't want to take over a colony full of rebels, do I, Janley?
Well, I don't know. You're making me help them.
Only to stir them up to create enough trouble to get rid of Hensel, and then we crush them. The whole colony will be grateful, and I'll be governor.
Janley unwraps the bundle to reveal the Dalek gun stick.
Is that the gun you told me of?
Yes.
Can you persuade the rebels that this will help them?
Yes. Velmar thinks he can work in a switch to turn it on and off.
How powerful is it?
It killed Resno, Lesterson's assistant, and Lesterson believes that Resno's simply shaken up, taking a few days off.
And the body?
In the mercury swamp, Lesterson was the indirect cause of Resno's death. It's a good hold over her if she makes trouble. I'll give this to Valmar then?
Yes.
When do we move?
I need another card in my hand. The examiner bothers me.
I thought Quinn was the danger.
No, not anymore. The examiner's no fool. No. There has to be something else.
Bragan smiles as he considers an idea. Polly and Ben have met up in the corridor searching for the doctor.
Well?
Well, he's not in the laboratory. Lesterson's by herself.
He must have gone another way. Can I leave it to you? I'm going back to the guest room.
Well, but...
Well, somebody's got to clear it up.
Okay.
As Ben walks off, Janley suddenly appears and approaches Polly.
Hello there.
Hello. You're Lesterson's assistant, aren't you?
Yes. You're not looking for the examiner, are you?
Well, do you know where he is?
Yes. He's waiting to get a message through from Earth. He's in the communications room.
Ah.
Polly looks around in confusion.
Oh, you'll find it easy enough. Look, around, then to your right, in the next block.
Thanks very much.
Janley smiles as Polly walks off. As soon as Polly disappears from sight, Janley follows her. Opening the door of the communications room, Polly peers in uncertainly.
Doctor? Anyone here?
Suddenly, a man appears behind Polly and slaps a hand over her mouth.
Well done, Velmar. Hold her. Hold her.
Polly struggles furiously in a vain attempt to shake free of the man's grip. Janley appears and breaks a small vial of liquid into a handkerchief. She then holds the handkerchief over Polly's face. Polly collapses, unconscious, to the floor.
There. That'll keep her quiet for a bit.
I've no idea who she is. She was just snooping around.
I sent her. We want her kept out of the way. Get a couple of your men to keep her in a safe place.
Janley unwraps the Dalek gun and shows it to Valmar.
Now, this is what I told you about.
Yes, the lethal power must come from here.
Uh-huh.
It should have quite a good range.
Can you fix it?
It's easy. This could win us the revolution.
Back in the guest room, the doctor is stretched out on the bed while Ben paces the room back and forward.
She said she was coming back here. She knew the way. She wouldn't have wandered off. I know she wouldn't. Oh.
Ben, if you were a Dalek, what would your next move be?
I'm talking about Polly.
Oh, no. She's a clever girl, but she couldn't answer this.
But she is missing.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no. She's looking around. There's a lot to see in the colony. She's interested. I like that.
Ben grabs hold of the doctor's arm and leads him to the door.
Come on.
Where are we going?
To report it. If we make a fool of ourselves, I don't care. We report it.
Lesterson is alone with the Dalek in the laboratory.
Yes. I managed to stop that fool and examiner just in time. You know, there are some people here who believe that you're the enemy.
I am your servant. What does this machine do?
You know, it's amazing. You have an almost human interest and curiosity.
A Dalek is not the same as a human. If I am to help, I must know everything.
Yes, of course.
What is this machine?
It computes meteorite storms as they approach our weather stations.
How accurate is it?
About 70%. It helps cut down on our satellite losses.
Daleks can build computers with 100% accuracy.
100%?
If you provide materials and our own power unit, a computer will be built.
100%. That would be an enormous saving for the colony.
Then you will get the materials.
Oh, I'll go and speak to the governor at once.
I will be ready to dictate the blueprint when you return.
Uh-huh. Oh, that is marvelous.
Lesterson excitedly leaves the room. As soon as the Dalek is satisfied that it's alone, it moves towards the power unit and adjusts a control with its sucker arm. A vibrating noise begins to emanate from the capsule as the Dalek glides into it. Ben rushes through a corridor in an attempt to find someone in authority. He turns back and notices that the doctor is lagging behind. The doctor appears lost in thought as he mutters a number of mathematical calculations to himself.
You agreed we'd go and see Bragan.
Huh? Power.
Come on, then.
Now take the energy intake for the Dalek should be the Q.
The doctor rips a piece of paper from a notice board and absent-mindedly scribbles down a number of calculations.
All right, now then.
Well, now what are you at?
Taking a look at the way this
talking to yourself.
Sighing heavily, the doctor pins the paper back on the board.
It's useless with incomplete data.
The doctor suddenly notices someone approaching. He hurriedly shoves Ben out of sight.
Lesterson.
Hey?
She just went past. That means we can get into the laboratory again.
But we're looking for...
Come along, Ben, come along.
Inside the laboratory, the doctor notices a number of cables stretching from the power unit and leading into the capsule.
There's somebody in there.
Moving slowly, the doctor and Ben approach the capsule. A Dalek suddenly appears from within it.
What are you doing here?
Stand aside. Servants shouldn't question.
Entry is restricted.
Not for me, it isn't. Accord every access. I've got a badge.
That is an order.
A Dalek order. Short circuit the generator, Ben.
Ben moves towards the power unit.
Stand back, stand back, stand back, stand back.
Don't be frightened of it, Ben. It's not armed. I'm going to see what it's doing in there.
The doctor dashes towards the capsule, but is halted when 2 more Daleks appear from within it. Both
Ben?
are armed with gun sticks.
Ben, let's get out of here.
Fool. Lesterson must have reactivated them.
Yes. When I say run, run like a rabbit. Run!
The doctor and Ben sprint from the laboratory as the 2 armed Daleks glide up to the first, still unarmed Dalek.
I have sent the human being for materials. And power. Yes, power we can turn into static. Then we will conquer. We will conquer.
An inquest is taking place in Hensel's office regarding the reactivated Daleks.
But if you didn't do it, Lesterson, and then the Daleks must have used your own power supply and reactivated the others itself.
I was going to do that anyway.
Are you off your head, mate? Those 2 are armed.
Then we turn off the electricity, disarm them, and then everything is safe again.
I've already explained to you.
Stop these arguments, both of you. I've had enough. I've every confidence in Lesterson. She has carte blanche for the Daleks from now on.
But they must be destroyed.
Reagan, I'm making a tour of the perimeter. I put you in direct charge here. See that Lesterson gets everything she wants, will you?
Hensel strides from the room as Lesterson turns to Bragan.
I shall need a permanent guard on my laboratory, Bragan.
Glaring at Lesterson, the doctor stalks from the room, closely followed by Ben.
Don't worry about the examiner. I think I can keep him quiet.
Ben and the doctor have returned to the guest rooms, where each is lost in his own thoughts.
We've been forgetting about Polly.
Greed and ambition, that's all it is. Wait till they find out what their precious production figures have cost them.
As Bragan marches into the room, the doctor sits down on a chair, deliberately placing his back to Bragan.
Oh, I want to see you.
What about?
Well, it's Polly. She's missing. We can't find her anywhere.
I'll tell one of my men to make inquiries. It shouldn't take long to find her.
Thanks.
Examiner, one of my men has found a body in the Mercury Swamp. It was the body of a middle-aged man.
What is that to do with me?
You're the examiner? Or maybe you're not.
Just what exactly do you mean by that?
Who are you? Quinn's friends? Come to stir up rebellion.
There's only one possible way that you could know that I'm not the examiner.
Yeah, by knowing what the real examiner looked like.
Exactly, Ben, exactly. Only 2 people knew of his arrival on this planet. Myself and the murderer.
That's enough.
Is it?
Is it?
Doctor, we've got to tell the governor.
Do you think she'll believe you? I'll soon convince her that you murdered the man yourself. You stole the examiner's badge.
Then why don't you arrest us? Because there's some doubt, isn't there? Because it just might go against you.
All right. All right, so neither of us wants to make a move. But you leave Lesterson alone. And the Daleks.
Bragan hurries from the room.
He'd make her right, Father Christmas, wouldn't he?
I'd rather fight 100 of his sort than just 1 Dalek.
Suddenly, an envelope is thrust under the door. Ben rushes forward and opens the door, but the corridor is empty. Ben picks up the letter and reads it.
Hey, listen to this. The girl is safe. She remains so as long as you leave the Daleks alone.
In the laboratory, Lesterson is talking to the first Dalek. 2 more Dalek gun sticks are lying on a nearby table.
And did you disarm the other 2?
Yes, we are your servants. We do not need guns.
I'm very glad. I knew the examiner was wrong about you.
Did you get our materials?
Yes. Everything you need, you can have.
And a power plant?
Everything.
We will get our power. We will get our power. We will get our power. We will get our power.
Chanting relentlessly, the Daleks turn to Lesterson. A slight frown appears on her face. This concludes episodes 2 and 3 of The Power of the Daleks. In the next 3 episodes of the series, the Daleks make good on their threat to get their power and begin duplicating themselves with the intent of taking over the colony and the planet. With the Daleks' help, Bragan kills Governor Hensel, allowing Bragan to assume command of the colony. Polly is freed from her captors, and although Janley and Lesterson discover the evil that is among them, it's too late for them both, and they also fall victim to the deadly ray guns of the Daleks. Bragan is assisted by Valmar once his murder of the governor. Bragan is assassinated by Valmar once his murder of the governor is revealed. The Doctor engineers the destruction of the Daleks, saving the planet. Valmar and Quinn are last seen heading off to inspect the damage and begin rebuilding the colony. As the Doctor and his companions arrive back at the TARDIS, they see a Dalek casing sits next to it. Ben slaps the Dalek casing lightheartedly as he and Polly follow the Doctor inside the TARDIS. Suddenly, while the TARDIS dematerializes, the Dalek sucker stick, ever so slightly, moves.
Hello. Hello, YouTube.
Hello, everyone. This is Natasha Krentz. I'll be your moderator for the Q&A portion of this panel. This is my second radio play ever, the first one done by you guys back in May. And this one had me equally riveted to my screen, including my cat. He's been sitting here listening with me the whole time, too.
Well, thank you, Kitty Cat.
I've been watching through the YouTube, and I have told them in there that we've got Q&A, and they can type questions into the chat there, and I can pass them on to you. So far, we've mostly got some great comments about that the show was great, the sound effects were excellent. Cats are fascinated by Daleks. Yes, yes, they are. So anyone has questions and who's watching on the YouTube, place them in the chat, and I will ask them to our players. In the meantime, I'll start with question number 1. What is the most challenging aspect of doing these radio plays virtually?
I would say finding a time to meet, getting everything coordinated, and but my system, for those of you who don't know, who've just come on, I'm Ben Ellis, I'm director of the company. My system, my philosophy is no one is ever not included if they can't make it, because we all have jobs, we all have lives and stuff like that. So I try to be super flexible with my casts and saying, you know what, we're going to rehearse it. I don't know when, but we're going to rehearse it, and it's going to be awesome. So what did you guys?
Anyone else want to answer that question too?
I think the most challenging part is the technical aspect of it. Working with Zoom, working with sound effects, working with 10 people on different microphones. It's trying to find that balance of we're trying to effectively tell a story while out of the corner of our eye watching all of the technology happen. It's the multitasking. That too. And Ricky and Philip are the pros at multitasking. Oh, we're the proverbial ducks where you look like we're just sailing on the water, but we're paddling furiously.
And plus, there's a little bit of the. Oh, shoot.
No, go ahead. David, go ahead.
Oh, I can't hear myself.
Oh, fudge.
Another challenge of doing these. A little bit of it's kind of the acting with the green screen effect. Because sometimes there are a lot of effects that you can't hear, and you have to react to them somehow, and trust that you're doing it the right way. Especially for my Dalek stuff.
Very good.
Because of our particular technology setup, here's a little behind the scenes information for you. I actually couldn't hear anything. I was being visually cued on when to talk because I couldn't actually hear anything. So you talk about having to just trust the process. I was just trusting that I was being given my visual cues at the right time and I was doing the right thing. So that's, like a lot of theater, you just kind of have to learn to trust the people you're working with, not only to do their job, but to help you do yours.
All right, we have a few questions in the queue. First one from Joseph Erickson. Where do you get the background music?
Well, that would be me. I sourced a lot of things from either my DVD collection or for this one, I pulled a lot of stuff off of the episode itself. When there wasn't any characters speaking, I was able to grab some of the sound from there because I wanted to, have it as much original sound as I could.
In other words, we borrowed them. Borrowed.
From Jan Sloan, what was the source for this script?
I can field that. Basically, all the missing episode scripts of Doctor Who are available on a website called Earthbound Time Lords, and I can share the link to the console room page later. But if there is and this site has been going on for a while now, but if there's a missing episode, that's where they'll have the script for it. And as someone growing up who didn't have access to the audios right away, this was a great resource. And what I do is I find a script, I watch the episode, and then I talk to Ricky and say, hey, can we do this? What's possible here?
Oh, things are possible.
Yes. And it's a process. What? And it's a process.
I was going to say that goes right into the next question we got from Larry, which is how does this go from you choosing the script to creating the script that you use and all of that background?
Well,
go ahead.
It starts with Ben sending me all of the original scripts and kind of giving me his vision for how he wants to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then draw upon my day job, basically, which is editing other people's words, and try to tell a cohesive story in a reasonable amount of time. That's the other thing we have to think about. We have to think about if we're taking, 2 or 3 episodes of a series and condensing them down into roughly a 1-hour broadcast. How do we get the whole story told in a reasonable amount of time? So it just starts with it starts with a red pencil. You take the script and you just start cutting. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. I don't currently see any new questions coming in from the live YouTube chat, but if anyone else has another question, please go ahead, put it in the chat. I'll pass it along. Let's see, what's another question that I can ask? I'm going to go with one of my favorite questions, which is for everyone to answer. Who is your favorite Doctor Who villain?
What do you mean angels?
Roger Delgado, Master.
I'd be inclined to agree with Ben on that one. But as far as just scary, it would either have to be the angels or the Daleks themselves. I think especially when I was younger, Daleks would give me nightmares.
And I'm gonna toot my own horn for a second here. I chose the script because we did like a lighter story, but in the end, as Doctor Who fans, and I assume everyone will agree with this, we love our monsters.
Yeah.
We love to be scared. But who else? Who else? Please share your other villains. Who your favorite villains are.
I love the Zygons.
Yes.
The first, the original Zygon story was one of the first I'd ever seen, and I just loved that ooey gooey spaceship. And,
is that a technical term?
Yes.
Is now.
That's
I'd
how
like
they
to know
mark
if
it.
it's mentioned that way in the script. Ben, can you get on that, please?
I will look into that. I think. Grab your cell phone here.
Yeah, I really didn't have much of a favorite Doctor Who villain. I think I pretty much, place them almost all equally as far as that goes. However, I do think as far as like the most entertaining villains that I've ever seen were probably the Slitheen from the rebooted series.
I
there you
hate
go.
the Slitheen.
I'd probably have to go with the Suntarans. I'm a sucker for the Suntarans.
There you go. I like Michael Wisher's Davros. He still is the bar holder. I mean, he knocked it out of the park with his performance. But also Santarans.
Well, Michael Wisher
what's that?
Sorry, Michael Wisher was an amazing Davros.
Oh my God, he was incredible. I was sad he couldn't come back for
Figuring out
the
that there's
return.
actually no one answer to this question.
No, there never will be.
No one really has just one answer to this question.
After 50 years.
We're fans. We can't have one answer to this question. 57. Hey, we got a new question.
I have two.
All right.
I'm
Yeah,
actually
go ahead, David.
David, go ahead.
The Ronnie.
Ah.
I love her so much. I wish they could have done more with her.
Well, I was back when there was the controversy about having a female regeneration of the Doctor. One of the points I was making was that if they wanted to include more female characters, especially female Time Lord characters, there were certainly others they could do without having to regenerate somebody into a female body. And I thought, why didn't they look into bringing the Ronnie back?
Funny story about that, Philip. When Missy's first episode was released to the press, they didn't want to spoil it. So when they shot the episode, Missy says, "I'm the Ronnie," because couldn't let the press know that the Master was coming back in female form. So,
Honestly, my favorite which one always creeped me out, is the Vashta Nerada.
I was just gonna say that.
Oh,
Was that
The
your
idea
second one,
of
David?
invisible airborne piranhas, basically, just in every shadow.
Very good. Anyone else?
For that matter, the shadows in the library,
oh God.
because most of us
The
love
Vashta
books
Nerada.
as well.
Mhm.
And the fact that there would be shadows that could kill us when
Too
we're
close to
trying to
home.
get
That's
a very
the
good
Vashta
book
Nerada.
is a nightmare.
Too close to home.
Yep.
All right. Did we get everyone on that one? Anyone else need an answer? Okay. We do have a new question from Galaxy. Do you hope to expand beyond the missing episodes to New Who or to other sources?
Oh boy. Well, the current plan right now is we're going to focus on the missing episodes. Due to some of the content of certain episodes, we will not perform them because they are not appropriate. Like, so we probably won't do a production of Marco Polo, or the Crusade, or the Smugglers, because those very inappropriate racial stereotypes that we don't want to bring that back.
The Talons of Wing Chiang.
Talons of Wing Chiang, that's one we cannot do.
Oh boy.
And I like Talons. I think it's a great story, but I could tell you facts that would make your head spin about that story. What was I going to say here? As far as doing other stuff, yeah, I want to look into that. I've discussed with the team that, we maybe want to do some British sitcoms or maybe The Shadow. I would also, if you have a Doctor Who script you want to submit that you might think would be good for us, submit it. We may do it, but just keep on. And also with New Who, I'm hesitant about doing it because with old Doctor Who, a lot of the writers are dead and they can't sue us.
Litigation from the grave.
But unfortunately, here's the tricky thing. A lot of writers, like if we did Dalek, Robert Sherman's has a big social media presence, and I would write to him to get permission, obviously. Bite my tongue. But I'm just so hesitant about doing New Who or Big Finish because that's a writer's work we're doing, and we can't compensate them, and I don't feel great about it. What would you guys like to do for other productions?
I think it would be fun to do an original script.
Yes.
If not necessarily Doctor Who fan fiction, but something in the vein of Doctor Who inspired script, something that plays into the fandom with new characters.
I just thought of something, by the way. I want to point out that in that long diatribe of our favorite villains, I think it's really interesting. Nobody mentioned the Cybermen.
I like the Cybermen, they're just not my favorite.
Well,
yeah, we didn't get down that far down the list. If you would have gotten the top 3, Cybermen would have been on there.
In the current Zoom COVID world, I think we are all feeling too much like Cybermen.
Too real.
Everyone with the ear pods.
Joe's right. Too real. Too real.
We have to look at our phone.
Very much.
Seeing everybody.
Those new wireless earbuds that have the little pointy thing that comes out of your ear. Yeah, very, very too real right now.
Okay, guys, you can't steal this idea, but I just had the best idea for merchandise. A headset that looks like
Cyberman,
the old style Cybermen.
Oh,
there you go.
With the little little headlight on the top.
You can do work at night and listen to music.
Well, oh my God, that'd be brilliant.
It looks like a Cyberman army.
I briefly thought about taking a set of headphones and painting them silver, but I was afraid that there might be any type of metallics in the paint that would affect them.
Well, stick a headlight on the top and you'll be an old style Cyberman.
And those were the best.
Oh, yes.
Hey, I walked around with a mixing bowl upside down on my head when I cosplayed as a doctor. Dalek, so
Nice. I
was the cutest Dalek ever, you guys.
Aw.
Yeah.
I wore a beret when I was pretending to be the Brigadier. So
Nice.
There you go.
So we probably have enough to. We could actually costume for one of these read-throughs. At least with
that's
headgear.
my hope.
Everybody just wear something on your head that indicates your character.
Well, that's brilliant. All you need is a beret, and all you have to say is, "Doctor, come back here at once."
No. It'd be Jenkins. It'd be Jenkins. Chapel things there. 5 rounds rapid.
5 rounds rapid.
As Nick would say, that's the solution to any monster on any planet. I guess I hope for us, we do original work. I hope that once COVID is over, that we can be out in the public, and perform. I have a lot of hopes. We all have a lot of hopes, and it's all good.
All right. I have one more question for everyone. And then I lost the question. It's in my own head somewhere. Where did it go? Oh, I lost it. It is still a question for everyone, but only one person needs to answer. When do we get to have another radio play?
Ben?
December.
Wonderful.
We are going to do a radio play to coincide with the Who It Yourself Day. So, and I'm not going to say much, but we want to surprise the audience. We will have the console room radio players will present a Christmas surprise. Don't know what's going to be.
Wonderful.
Yes. It'll just be a replay of this. It'll just be a replay of this, but in funny accents.
Surprise!
No, but seriously, we've been talking about it, and we want to have a big surprise for Christmas.
This story only with elves instead of Daleks.
Or the Daleks with Yorkshire accents.
Holiday surprise. Thank you. Shit. Thank you, Carly.
All right. So that is a great segue. Thank you, Ben. On the screen, thank you, audience, for joining us for this radio play live presented by Console Room and our Who It Yourself Live panels. You can find more of the live panels we've done by visiting our YouTube page for Console Room. You can also visit us on Facebook, on our website, and we also have some information on Instagram and Twitter. Most of that stuff you can see on your screen. Website www.console-room.com, and any of our upcoming Who It Yourselves will be posted there so you can find out what we're doing next. See you again in the future. Everyone say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Ben. Just want to let you know that since forever I have collected many of the books.
The burger ones?
As me to shush.
I think everybody muted. I keep getting muted, but I have all the